Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever cooking video here on YouTube, and today we're making a classic Malaysian breakfast called Roti Bakar. We are first going to start off with the HAINANESE bread, a simple white bread available in every kopitiam in the country. In a bowl, pour in bread flour, milk powder, sugar, and yeast. Mix the dry ingredients and pour in water. I would typically use a stand mixer for this, but I unfortunately left mine somewhere else during the shoot, so hands it is. Grab your butter and lightly season with a pinch of salt. I made a mistake here because my butter was already slightly salted, so there was too much salt in this dough, which will affect the fermentation process. Knead the dough a little bit more on the counter to develop its gluten. Shape the dough into a nice tight ball. Lightly oil a bowl and place the dough in the bowl and let it rest for about an hour, or until double in size. Because there was too much salt, the dough did not rise properly, but it's fine. Knock the air out and divide the dough equally into two pieces, making sure to use a scale for this. Next, lightly dust the work surface and very gently flatten the dough with a rolling pin to about half an inch thick. Roll the dough back up using a dough scraper to help with the sticky bits. Place into a lightly buttered 450 gram loaf tin, and now it is time to proof. This is optional, but to proof, I placed into my oven a pot of hot water to create steam. Place your loaf tins with the dough and let it proof for another hour. Again, this could have risen better if it weren't for that extra salt, but it's fine. Now all that is left is to bake. Bake the bread at 160 degrees Celsius for about 32 minutes. Once done, immediately remove the bread from the loaf tin and let it cool naturally for at least another hour. It's tempting, but don't cut into freshly hot baked bread. It's just never a good idea. Next, kaya, a sweet coconut jam. There are a few versions to this jam, but this one is a recipe passed down to me by my aunt. In a bowl, crack in your eggs, sugar, and coconut milk. Some water. Here I'm just washing off the coconut milk with the water, a pinch of salt, and whisk it all together. Next, place a piece of ginger. This will help get rid of the eggy smell, and let it sit and whisk a little bit for a few minutes. Now, the caramel. In a wok or any white pot, pour it in your sugar, melt the sugar on a medium heat. Be sure to only lightly move the sugar around. Moving it too much will crystallize the sugar, which will then make it harder to melt. Patience is key here. Once it reaches this color, slowly pour in your egg and coconut milk mixture in. Be sure to always whisk while pouring. You may slow down the heat at this point and keep whisking for another 10 minutes until it reaches a jammy consistency. Remove from the heat and whisk it for another 3 minutes to help cool down the kaya. In the glass container, pour in your hot kaya, and now your kaya is pretty much done. Just leave it aside to cool to room temp. It will jamify a little bit more as it cools. Next, butter. Only one ingredient here, whipping cream. This is very important. Make sure the cream has at least 35% fat content and is free from any additives that won't allow it to turn to butter. Whip the heck out of the whipping cream until the butter separates. Grab all the butter together and squeeze out the buttercream like so. Place the butter in a separate bowl and pour in cold water. We want to wash out as much of the buttercream as we can. This will increase the shelf life of the butter and prevent it from getting bad. Repeat the step for at least 3 times. Buttercream is another product that you'll get. You may store this to use for another recipe. You may just store the butter at this point, but I'm gonna shape it. On top of some baking paper, shape your butter by hitting it with wooden spatulas into a rectangle. Cover and refrigerate to harden. Roti Bakar is typically served with some half-boiled eggs. Boil some water in a small pot, turn off the heat, and let the eggs sit in the hot water for about 7 minutes. And now it's time to serve. Slice the HAINANESE bread, toast the bread, cut the toast into half, spread the beautiful homemade kaya on the toast, slice a piece of the butter and spread it on the toast, and sandwich it together like so. Now the last thing to do is to just crack the half-boiled eggs into a separate bowl, drizzle a touch of soy sauce, white pepper, and your kaya toast is done. Honestly, nothing can get more Malaysian than this. The sweet coconutty kaya and fresh butter sandwiched between two beautiful toasts are the type of flavors loved by every children and adults alike here in Malaysia.
Mungkin a bit dense sebab dia tak cukup rice. Banyak nak garam.
Keras sikit. Sebab butter dengan kaya amazing.
I would rate this 8 lah. Solid 8 lah. Kalau roti dia okey sikit 9.